XCN Comp Quant Liquidity. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet, as always, starting off with Bitcoin as it controls the market. So we see that it pulled back. It did not hold support on this upward trend line. And what did everybody do? They sold within this day, and it got bought back up for those people who wanted to be more bullish, holding, and other people selling off for a second day. Like I talked about in the previous videos, we could be heading as low as 108 being the previous all-time high that we are holding the support around, or potentially even lower, 104, and I believe around 98 would be the next stop if that is possible. It's possible for it to come back down to $100,000 and then just shoot right back up, because $100,000 for one Bitcoin is pennies. And you have MicroStrategy and all these big corporations buying more Bitcoin than are being mined. And this could be the miners selling off as well when they see this break of the support, because they need to cash in for the electricity and more miners and so on. So we always typically have a blow off right when we get to the all-time high. Some people start freaking out when it pulls back to $100,000 from 120. If you're trying to hit that $250,000 Bitcoin mark, you have to have some kind of violent pullbacks. So making the new high and not holding it, we are currently about 8% pullback. Typically, we see about this percentage of a pullback before a massive takeoff. So there is the possibility to continue downwards. However, I don't think we're going to be heading down 30%. I believe typically it's around 20% in a decrease in Bitcoin if we have that continuation downwards. However, it could be a bear trap, and we could have bulls just waiting to buy this up before it absolutely closes below this previous high. The next previous high would be right at this area, right around the $100,000 mark, which we have quite a bit of support. And this upward trend line is what is now considered our resistance. If we push down to the 100,000, that's also below the 200 EMA, which is very strong, and it'll have a massive volume candle, and we will see a bunch of money start to flow in, and within 3 days be beyond the point of our previous all-time high. So keeping all that in mind, let's start digging into other coins. Cartasi, I brought this one up recently, not one of my fan favorites. However, I was saying once we get over that 200 EMA, we would have a pop, which is about 51%. And we are currently right back down at the 4 to 5% profit increase, which is actually testing the 200 EMA as support, which is what we need to see to have a continuation upwards. We may come back down below it and then push right back up, test it as support once more before taking off. That's kind of all I have to say about Cartasi. Moving into IOTX, it was looking very, very stable. It's definitely getting some resistance, getting some push from that 200 EMA. The 618 retracement is actually exactly where we have retraced to. We did it once before back here on the 12th, and we are currently in that position. If this is a bear trap as well, we could see it come back up, touch this break is what we would like to see, and push back up towards that 0.034, obviously. But if it does not hold that, we could expect a push downwards, and the next resistance or fair value gap would be 0.025. However, if you've been holding into IOTX, we are still at an absolute low. It can't go much lower than this. We're getting some pretty good support. We're pushing above a 200 EMA. We've seen that happen back here in between August and September of 2024 before taking off. But IOTX, like I was saying, keep an eye on it. We may start seeing some increase in price. If that does not happen, start looking for buys here around 0.025. Moving over to Tornado, also one of the healthier charts. It is starting to get some major rejection off this downward trend line. We see it touched 1, 2, 3, potentially 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 times to this downward trend line. We are also getting support on this upward trend line. We see that it held for 3 days here, 4, I can consider 5, 6, 7, also 7 days. So it's getting wedged into this tiny triangle we have placed here, and it has to bust at one point, whether to the upside or the downside, keeping in mind that this is also some resistance, this black upward trend line, and this is our support as well as the 200 EMA. So tornado, you've had multiple opportunities to get in below $10, currently at $10.98. You can trade it on MEXC, reference in the description below. You actually get $10 if you use that reference link, and you can trade Tornado Cash. Looking at Doge, I was saying we need to hold support at this 21 cent mark. We are also at the 200 EMA. We got some little bit of rejection going on here, so we may also see a break to the downside for Dogecoin. Keeping in mind it is a meme coin. Never put all your money into one coin, especially a meme coin. We surpassed the 618 Fibonacci retracement. Next stop roughly 0.20, and the next stop being this previous low at roughly 19 cents. We need to hold above that 19 cents. That would be ideal. However, the ultimate one we need to hold above is 15 cents for Doge. If Bitcoin decides to crash massively, we may see this trickle down as well. I don't believe that far because money flows out of Bitcoin into other currencies such as Ethereum and altcoins, which is kind of what we are playing with on my channel, as that is where the real money is at. Dogecoins, meme coins, they are fun. They are a little bit more volatile, a little bit more not as stable because the government could shut it down at whatever point. I believe these next 2 years are the only chances we'll have to deal with meme coins within the market, as they will be getting rid of it eventually, coming out with like pump fund and all that kind of stuff where people just pump out coins and take people's money. But Aerodrome, we had that major push up from entry. If you're on my trading channel, currently at, or it was at 79 cents when we had our entry, which was breaking above that 200 EMA. We had that major push up, the resistance at that downward trend line being this pullback before breaking up over, and now it is retesting that area. We have not broke over this blue line in the CM Guppy, and it is looking very, very healthy for its next push up. Just keep an eye on it, as we could even retrace back into that CM Guppy for ultimately breaking through this downward trend line once more. So keeping all that in mind, this 618 Fibonacci, more or less, 618 is right here at 98 cents. So keep an eye on Aerodrome. If you missed that like 84% pump, you will soon have another opportunity to enter into Aerodrome. XCN, everybody's favorite, everybody's freaking out. All right, well, let's take a look at it. Fibonacci retracement, we are at that point 786, trying to hold stable above that at 786. The next potential stop is 0.008. Is that a possibility? Let's go back in time. I don't think it shows it on this chart. I believe it was this candle on a different chart. It was all the way up here at 4 cents, went all the way down to like the base, 0.000 something, and then shot right back up, grabbing all of those sell orders if it went down to a certain point, and getting all those buy orders, shooting the price way up in reverse psychology, right? So we're doing inverted scale because inverting stuff is the way to look at it. So the major resistance that we are looking at is this line. Pretty important. If we're trying to push lower, we need to be breaking this line. And what is the next potential? Well, we have another trend line potential right here, which is right on that fair value gap, which also matches with this previous high. And if that plays out, if I were doing a bearish movement, what I would be looking at is something like this for a double top. And with that double top, an immediate push similar to this. Let's highlight it, give you guys a circle. Right? We got that long curve down, selling off, and then a major bullish movement, which within 3 days had a major pump. And then we push up, pushing up, the selling off area, right? Selling off area. If we break this line, selling off to the maximum, getting that double top, and then a major bullish buy coming right in right after it. This I like to compare the market to like NFL, the Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Everybody's waiting for the Super Bowl to come. Super Bowl is happening every day behind people's backs that don't know about trading. And so if you are getting into trading, this is a Super Bowl moment, waiting for one side to win or the other. Are the Bears going to win? Well, the Bulls won that round. Then you get to sell off the next day. It's another Super Bowl championship. Who's going to be winning? Is it the Bears or the Bulls? It was the Bears. The Bears. And then you see the Bears for more and more days, and then bullish. And the Bulls get all excited, think it's going to continue forever. The Bears for weeks. And then the Bulls, and then the Bears, and the Bulls continue. But I believe we are going to see a double bottom if we break this upward trend line. And so this area, I will put a circle here. I don't know if it's going to stay here for the next video, but within that area, if we push there, I believe we are going to start seeing some major bullish momentum back towards this downward trend line. If we break that, hell is going to break loose for XCN. Moving on over to PIN. PIN is like render, but it did not hold over that 200 EMA. Insane amount of volume within this area. So if we can break that 200 EMA, you might see a major pump for PIN, which can also be traded on MEXC. Again, if you use MEXC, use a VPN. Not financial advice, any of this. Compound. Moving into compound, we got that W still trying to form. It's a wonky W. We'll call it the WW because we got another W forming within that W. Triple top. I guess it's not triple top because we did not see this previous high. Get rid of everything. High and then a lower high. This is technically a lower high if we are inverting it, right? There's a high, there's a lower high. This is trying to push up, which means we want to see the bearish momentum, but then we have to break past a potential double top, which could be pushing it right back onto the bull side. Going back to the normal chart, we have upward trend line. We need to break above that 200 EMA and hold. We've tested it multiple times here. We did not hold at this point, got a little bit of rejection due to the Bitcoin drop, but we just need to break back up over that 200 EMA. If you haven't bought into compound, now is definitely a good time, pretty much anywhere within that area. Quant, people are losing their shit over quant. Pardon my language, I'm not supposed to be cussing on YouTube. So we see that diamond pattern, right? The potential move downward, 45% potential. Does it always go that way? No, it does not. We are holding above that 200 EMA, getting a little bit of decision right here at the 200 EMA, which is the $100 mark. And when I was talking about these videos months ago, back here in May of 2025, I had my original entry further back at $75. I was explaining I was picking up more quant. Any profit I was taking from another coin, I was putting into quant at $100. Quant had that major push up once it broke the downward trend line, held support above the 200 EMA. Everything was green, had that push up, rejection, push up, major sell off where we had a major sell off at, I believe it was 123. And then we had the opportunity to buy down at this downward trend line, which everybody and their grandma bought right here, which was another downward trend line. So major support within this area, trying to push over that 200 EMA, completely failed and pushed right back up over the 200 EMA for the bulls. Had that continuation. Everybody's freaking out, thinking it's going up, me included. And we had that major rejection. Took a little profit here as it was above the previous buy-in entry. And then we had another opportunity. If it would have broken this downward trend line, it would have been an opportunity for re-entry. However, we had a complete bearish engulfing, pushing it back below the previous sell-off point, which was this previous high, 122. Through the CM Guppy, got that support. This is where we had indecision. I guess if we maybe could see it in the weekly. Weekly, we had a little bit of indecision here. Looking at this candle, we were going up, we were going down. We held a little bullish, but ultimately got rejected and are now in the bearish trend. but we are getting support on that 200 EMA. It really depends on what Bitcoin's going to be doing. It's very confusing in the market these days because when it sells out of Bitcoin, it goes into Ethereum, which Ethereum hit its all-time high, and when it goes out of Ethereum, it goes into the altcoins. But Bitcoin pulling back 10% can send altcoins down 20 or even 30%. With this current move, we are down from the high 24%. That's not abnormal. You see throughout these videos, my voice and emotions have not changed. Kind of rip the plug out on that one because it's unnecessary when you're trying to deal with the cryptocurrency market. I have coins that are in the red and held, but I know for a fact they are going back up to their all-time highs. But with the market coming down, we see that it's holding support on the 200 EMA. We are still holding well above the previous low, and the ultimate low being down here at $60, which is a 50% loss if you are in at around 120. But if you are holding all the way down to a 50% loss, that immediate 50% can come right back within a few weeks. The upcoming months are very, very important for crypto. This video is getting astronomically long, so I'm going to do the other ones on a different video. But QNT, if you're in the red, don't worry about it. Hold your bag. Specifically, you know who you are. So if you're in the red, we could see a further push down. The 618 is at $88. However, strong faith that we are going to have a major increase in price as soon as we hit those lows. As you just see sellers selling off, but you don't see that there is massive liquidity here by the bulls waiting to buy it up to get that 10x gain from $100 rather than paying $120. They want to get in at the 90, the 80, even 60 is best for all those, all that liquidity that's down there. And the bears selling off, there's a bunch of bull liquidity within that area. That's it for this video. I'll do another one on all the X's. And like and subscribe if you want. Good luck. Have fun with it. I will see you on the next one.